Hello everyone, this is Daniel and welcome back to the fifth part in this character modeling series. Before we get started, I just want to point out that we now have a Discord server where you can share your progress and where you can also find resources like this reference picture. So if you're interested in that, take a look at the link in the description and the comments down below. Otherwise, I say we get started. Just to clean up things a little bit, I'll select this lower half and delete the faces here. I don't think we'll need them at the moment, at least. I should also tilt them back a little bit. Maybe I'll do this in proportional editing, so I just hit O quickly to enable that mode. So do something like this. Also just to clean things up a little bit more. Just give me a second to get the silhouette right. Right, that looks good. Yeah, the head seemed a little bit small, so we don't need to do anything with the neck. Let's deselect this part, but I will use Alt-S to just inflate the head a little bit, just to give it the right size here. I hope that didn't change too much with the side view. Maybe I scale it down in the side view a little bit, but that should be fine. Okay, now let's move on. I'll bring up my references quickly. You see the fingers are kind of blocky things around this circular thing. Maybe we add the fingers first and then we'll look at the legs a little bit. The pants are going to be probably the most difficult part, but I hope we'll figure it out. For the fingers, I'll just do it very easily. Just add a plane here. I'll go into edit mode right away. Scale it way down to 0.1, move it up a little bit just to have it in a nice place. Maybe let's rotate it 90 degrees. I'm just modeling this here now out of place, way in a different position. Let's work for this side, by the way. It's roughly the right size, extrude it with E. Yeah, maybe let's move this, how should we approach it? Yeah, select this part, let's hit E again and E again, let's just make 3 segments. Now, fingers should be, I guess it seems quite even in this character, but if we do a variation, then this part would be a little bit longer than the front. I didn't really see that though. Let's just make this front part a little bit shorter than the rest. Not too much though, so this is a bit longer, these two are a bit shorter. Something like that. I mean, it's really minor detail. We'll fix these things later too. The thickness is, you know, just estimate these kind of things. Something like this looks about right. Then we'll give it a little bit of a curvature. Yeah, I mean, look, if these things turn out to be getting in our way at the end, we'll just change things up again until we find a good method of construction. But for now, let's just go very rough, you know, get roughly the right shape. It's just a block out basically. Now, still in edit mode. I'm happy with the finger now. I'll move it roughly into the right position. Scale it to the right size. And now, I mean, this is just going to be like freehand in 3D space. I make copy with Shift D, and I use G to grab, R to rotate, and I won't touch S too much. Let's see. I mean, we can scale it down a little bit, yeah, but not too much. Just look at the reference and try to get this figured out. And at the moment, this is just going to be our template or layout, so it's not going to be too important. It might be a good idea to do these kind of details on our neutral pose here, and then pose it. But we'll look into these things when we go into details. So here are 2 fingers. Let's go for the other 2 fingers here, more towards the back. Like this. Make sure that they're rotated correctly. You have to, because this is quite freeform, like there's very little regularity in this, you just have to look from many angles and get it roughly right. I mean, it's a good practice either way. This is something you will have to do very often in 3D modeling. Looks good. And now for the thumb. I believe the thumb in this design has only 2 segments. Yeah, seems about right. So you just copy and get rid of a segment here for that. But we have quite a bit of a distance between the thumb and the fingers, so I'll try to consider that as we add the thumb. Yeah, that's enough separation. And I'll delete the last couple of vertices, select this ring and hit F to connect it all together. Alright, now this is our template. I mean, we'll change it up again, but for now let's just select this first, then select our body in object mode and hit Ctrl J to join it together as we did with the arm before. Now that we have that, let's do the feet first, like the boots, because the pants are going to be a bit difficult, bit of a challenge to join up, and I want to see it in context, so in this case I'll go first for the boots. So I start with, what should we start with? Let's quickly take a look at our reference. So we have like a half sphere at the bottom and a cylinder at the top, and the cylinder that goes through here, and more detail in the middle, but that's something we'll not worry about too much at the moment. Okay, so think in primitive shapes once again, that will help you. Add a cube, go to modifiers, add a subdivision surface modifier, go to 2 divisions for this and apply it. Then go to edit mode, go to wireframe. You see all my shortcuts down here, by the way. Sorry, I'm going through this very fast. I guess I realized that. But yeah, just slow it down. Slow it down and follow step by step if you want, or if you already know these things, then it should be fine. Oh yeah, our origin is still set to 3 cursors, so I hit the period shortcut again and open this menu to change this to median point, the pivot. Now we can sort of get this right. For those of you who kind of follow what I usually do, I just posted on Twitter that I've started recording my new tutorial series, and I'm getting so many notifications now of people responding to that. It's I don't know. I hope it doesn't distract me too much. It will be fun for those of you who actually saw that post and you're now watching the video. Thank you guys all so much for your positive feedback. It really gives me motivation. So yeah, that's what has been going on this side. Anyway, I'll scale this down to be flat here. Just trying to give it a little bit of the shape that we're looking for. You know, it's just poly modeling. I think we did this already a couple of times now with the different parts. And if you don't know something, well, you can look here at the things that I'm doing, or you can ask people in chat to help you, or you can use Google to your help. And that's going to be very important as an artist. Generally, use good, like learn how to research, learn how to find your answers, and so on. Yeah, I'm not going to make it flat, or should I? Let's quickly check the reference. Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about that at the moment. Let's keep it round, because this part is going to be inside of the cylinder anyway, so we won't see it. Okay, very roughly our leg, and then we need a cylinder. I mean, let's just start with a circle actually. Circle again with 8 vertices around. I'll go into edit mode and move it to where our boot or leg starts, and I have to go a bit back, stretch it a little bit. I'll take these 4 points and scale them out a little bit, just a tiny bit, just to give it a little bit of a nicer roundness. And as I said, the side view is not very accurate, so I won't be relying on this too much. Instead, I'll open up my references. Let me quickly put them on my second screen, just so that I can look at it while I'm working. And now let's see. So we extrude this down. Here we scale it up a little bit. I'll just use scale along all axes and not worry about this side for now, and we'll fix that later. Then we go down a little bit more. We can turn these rings also a little bit, since the leg is not entirely straight here. And one last time, and here we'll need to do quite a bit of adjustments. Let's see. So I'll select these 2 points and bring them up, scale them out like this. Okay, how can we simplify this process a little bit? So we have here at the bottom, let's see here, a little bit of a geometry, right? So I'm just trying to bring a few points in here that indicate this transition, and we'll do the details later. At this point, even though we're doing polymodeling, I'm still considering this a block out. So just roughing in all the parts, all the rough proportions. You want to see like the rough shapes and the silhouette of your character as soon as possible, so that you can judge if you're going to the right direction or if you're making mistakes. Yeah, that's the approach that you want to take here. Okay, see, I did one mistake. Be sure to enter wireframe mode, so that you also edit points in the back when you select them. And something like this should do. Let's see. I have a little bit of a arch like this, it seems, on the design. So we'll move these a little bit back further, just a bit more to the front, just so that we get this slight arch to the front, and add another subdivision here. So I think I've mentioned already most of the shortcuts. Just to review them quickly, Control R gives you lets you insert a loop, and Alt and click lets you easily select like an edge loop here. Otherwise, I'm just using transformations, so it's not too complicated. Yeah, let's select the back side of the leg, use proportional editing, and we can make this a little bit smaller, just to give it a bit more of the shape of an actual foot. You need to make it a bit wider though. Alright, okay. Now it's not super detailed, but that should be good enough for now. I mean, you have the rough silhouette, it roughly is in the right place. But for the details, obviously, we'll need to look at this a bit more closely and, match the different details that we have on this character. So for now, let's select this first, select this second, and then finally at the end, select your body. And use again Ctrl J to join everything together, and that will mirror our mesh over again. And I do quickly want to attempt to do the legs in this part. Let's see if we can finish this off in just this fifth part, I guess, if I'm not counting wrong. Okay, but we need to think for a second. What's the best way to approach it? So we have a circle down here, right? And we have a circle up here. So let's begin maybe by just go into the body, copy this, select this ring only, hit Shift D to copy this ring, then hit the right mouse button to reset it to its position where you copied it from, so it's still a copy here. Then I hit P, and with P you can separate and click on the selection only. So now if you go to object mode, you'll have a new object here that has only this in it. And we'll use this as a base here. I'll scale it up a little bit just to see where that it's a visibly different object. And then I'll copy this entire thing in the edit mode and bring it up to the top. I'll tilt it a bit to the front, and we'll delete this center, this vertex in the middle, and bring these 2 points together. Let's see, now it looks strange at the moment, but we can just go in here and try to make this a bit smoother. to bring it into a more circular shape. It doesn't need to be perfect here. All right, we make here now this ring. Look at the reference for this to line it up roughly. You won't be able to do it perfectly, so don't even try. Yeah, I mean, references are never going to be perfect. You get very good references for cars and stuff like that, where you know there is a ground truth that you can work with, but with characters, it might even sometimes look better if you have a little bit of a, you know, artistic touch where not everything is perfect. But my advice anyway is that instead of always looking only at your references, also look in 3D and see if it is kind of roughly in the right place. So that also helps. Now here is another thing that I want to introduce to you. There's an add-on that is very useful for modeling, and to activate it, go to Edit, Preferences, go to Add-ons, and type here Loop Tools, and activate this one. It's already in Blender. If you download Blender, you will have it already. You just need to activate it. Then you can hit N to open this side panel and go to Edit and open the Loop Tools, and this will allow you to, for example, relax these points a little bit, or like align the spacing. I usually use these two bottom features to just, you know, make things a little bit smoother, a bit nicer arranged. All right. Now next, let's work from the bottom here. I'll extrude this up a little bit, and then let's extrude again and scale it up. And maybe let's bring it up to this point. Just scale it up to hit these 2 points. And in the middle it should now be joined together. And we'll add maybe these 2 points as well to the mix, and we'll have to bring these down a little bit because the point where the paths join is roughly around here. Now let's see if the count of the vertex count here is the same as in the top. So if we can merge it or not. You'll see down here this has 7 vertices, and this has, we don't count this one, also 7, so this will be able to connect like this. Just select points and hit F to connect them. It will go all the way around. Now the remaining work is just to add a loop cut with Ctrl R and to adjust the points to, you know, shape our form, shape the form that we're going for. This is again going to be rough, but just make sure you look at the silhouette, because the silhouette is the most important thing of your character. If you get the silhouette right, it will be very recognizable. You will instantly know who the character is. And yeah, just do that for a little bit. I'll just go ahead and select these lower ones and hit relax to give this a bit of a nicer curvature, but we have to bring them down a little bit. Let's do the relax here as well. You see how useful it is? Of course you'll lose your definition, so you'll have to go back in and you know, position them more correctly just to get this correct, but it's a nice way to reset a little bit to give yourself a nicer, smoother mesh. Anyway, I also like to look a lot from just a perspective view from outside, not from the front or side view, just to really get a good understanding of where we have too many points, where we're missing some. Here we have this, and then here we finally scale this down a little bit for the belt line, and maybe add another loop cut and move it down a little bit to keep it this shape. But yeah, there we go. Wow, we're reaching now 20 minutes. That's going to be a long video, but I did hurry. I hope I didn't take too much time here. You of course can take your time to recreate all this. Maybe let's just go ahead and add some final details. Keep in mind that if you scale this here, it will scale around here because you only have these points selected. These are mirrored, so they're not part of your selection. So it will not like scale it towards the center. So after you scale it, you have to move it also a little bit to the center, just to keep this all even. So let's do that a little bit, and yeah, that just gives it a little bit more of this, a feeling of thickness that we would have here. Joins things a bit nicer together, like this. Alright, and there we go. I mean, honestly, I start to recognize the character just by its silhouette. So I think that's quite exciting. I hope that you're also having no problem following this tutorial. Let me just fix one thing up here finally. I think this should look somewhat more like this. And with that we should be good to go for now. Alright, we have already passed our 20 minutes mark. Something I don't like too much, but it's okay. And I get addicted to making little adjustments. Okay, I'll stop now. There we go. I hope you like your progress so far. And maybe I should just share a quick screenshot of this on Twitter and see what you guys think. I hope to get you all excited for this project. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, hope you don't have any problems, and I'll see you in the next part.